Nathalie has apparently turned to the dark side. Well, it's finally arrived. We finally have another episode of season 6, here in the US at least. This upcoming one is episode 7, El Toro de Piedra, I believe. With the randomness of the production that we're getting in the episodes, this was episode 11, I believe it was Revelator, and that was the last one that we saw, and now we're going back to episode 7. So we're almost taking a step back for now. But at least we have a new episode to look forward to. Now, initially for this one, since I technically haven't seen El Toro de Piedra, I wanted to make this like a preview video because I'm literally going to watch the English version, even though I've seen some spoilers and some leaks that people and other fans have posted. But then, like I just said, I was like, well, you know what? Since I've seen so many spoilers and since I've seen so many leaks, and probably all of you have as well, this is probably going to be a spoiler and preview like duo episode that we'll do. So there will definitely be spoilers included in this. So anyone who actually just wants to watch the episode, whether you guys haven't seen spoilers or leaks and they just want to watch it on Saturday. But if you want to come back for the discussion theorization, I encourage you to do so. So now I'm just going to take the time to go through the actual episode description and just read through it. I know like what the main plot is going to be, but there are several, maybe not several, but there are a couple points that I want to go through that's going to be very impactful for the remainder of season 6. Marinette and her class plans a concert to thank Mayor Bustier. While rehearsing, Marinette and Adrien go through the latter old things where Marinette finds a letter from Gabriel explaining his true identity. She shows it to Nathalie, but doesn't tell Adrien. Meanwhile, Ivan feels distant from his father, Raul El Toro Brule, who is a notorious criminal despite undergoing rehab. When Ivan refuses to participate in a heist, Raul is akumatized into the bull-themed El Toro de Piedra, which is Spanish for the stone bull, whose whip has the power to turn people into stone bulls. Ladybug and Cat Noir enlist Ivan as Minotaur to help defeat El Toro de Piedra, who promises to reform. The concert is successfully saved by Julika, who performs a solo due to several mishaps, and Nathalie reports to a secret society that also includes her father, Mr. Suncor, who wish to claim Ladybug and Cat Noir's Miraculouses. An operative known as the Machine takes Nathalie in as her shadow and plans to finish the job that Gabriel started. When I first looked at the episode, I wanted to try to compare this one to the linear narrative that we've seen so far. However, we don't actually have episode 6 yet, and the last one I could compare it to was Werepapas, which was episode 5. I have seen some spoilers where it shows that Marinette is going through, I think it's Marinette and Adrien are going through like a storage closet or a storage area where a lot of the artwork and other decorations and just furnishings have been packed up in the Agreste household. And I think that Gabriel had stuck a letter in there addressed to Adrien, sharing his true identity with him. Now, since I haven't seen the episode, I don't actually know. I haven't seen like the letter itself or any of the writing, and I don't know if they showed that anyway, but I have a feeling that Gabriel probably wouldn't have told Adrien his actual secret and kind of did what Marinette did at the end of season 5, as she announced Gabriel as like a hero, and he was, helping her take down Monarch and everything, even though he was Monarch at that time. But the letter might also quite possibly be a true identity reveal to him, which then I gain a little bit more respect for Gabriel because maybe he didn't go completely insane at that time. But it's like, still, why, if you're going to write that letter, why do all of that anyway? Or at least go to that length that you did. And when I compare this to another lying part of Marinette or some kind of risky behavior that she's had with Adrien before, of not sharing certain things with him, it's just seeming to snowball. And when I go back to Werepapas, that episode specifically wasn't, I think, designed to show that and to show like secrets she had with him or be more focused on their relationship. That was more of learning of the external Agreste family and then of course Emily's parents as well. But even basing it from the rest of the season so far, we're going to get like a snowball effect continuing in season 6, where the lies and the secrets and just not sharing certain information that's not necessarily lies, but things that she should be telling him about that's not even superhero related in their relationship, is going to create a huge impact on the remaining seasons, and especially the end of season 6, I believe. Now, for the sake of the video, I actually just want to go through the main plot because this technically is episode 7, and I can, look around at the corners and everything and at the little details, but the main plot is actually Raul, who is Ivan's father. They don't have a great relationship together. Raul is, I believe his career is like a bullfighter or something, which is still pretty cool, but he's also a criminal. And I think he was requesting that Ivan come on a heist with him to like continue the family legacy of robbery. And of course, Ivan, being the nice guy that he is not going to do that. This causes Raul to become angry. Of course, he gets akumatized by Charisse or Lila, whichever you want to call her. He turns into El Toro de Piedra, and the whole battle sequence and everything. And again, since I haven't seen the episode, I'm not sure about like the actual sequence or any more details to look in through there. But I guess at the end, Raul ends up getting reformed, or he promises to reform, and that was kind of good to see. Not only does it show that there's another external relationship that we're getting exposed to with Ivan and his dad, and then just Ivan and his family, like kind of tree a little bit, but we're also seeing a new connection made by them and a new bonding experience for those two, which is cool because we get a look into the lives of more of these secondary and supporting characters. Transitioning to the other points of this episode, even before I knew about episode 7, I wanted to see Luca, and I know everyone else wanted to see at least a glimpse of Luca here earlier on in the season, and now we have that. But supposedly he's in Brazil, and this makes sense because remember at the end of season 5, Luca chose to leave Paris because he knows both Marinette and Adrian's secret identities of Ladybug and Cat Noir, and I think he actually knew them a little while back, which was the end of season 4. I think those were episodes 18 and 22 of season 4. So towards the end of season 4, but he had known for a good chunk of time, even before season 6. So he made that decision to leave. And then also he was accompanied by Jagged, his dad. And that was kind of nice because not only was Luca leaving to protect his friends and then protect, those supporting characters of the entire group, but he was going on kind of like a journey with his dad, Jagged, and what looks like to heal that relationship and kind of share a bond during this journeying time. I've also heard speculation from fans that Luca has joined the Order of the Guardians, or he is at least training with the Order of the Guardians, and he himself might become a Guardian in the future, which I think is really cool because I knew that Luca was going to have a more major role, or at least I had a feeling that he was, and I think he totally deserves it because even when you compare him to Marinette and Adrian, I think he's more mature even as a supporting character than both of them. Because let's face it, Luca has an easygoing vibe, but he's also very caring, and he can step up as a leader when he needs to. Not only that this is a great time for him to be protecting his friends and using that selfless nature of his to, go and travel the world and everything, but to study and train and become more knowledgeable about the miraculous and the grimoires is excellent. Now, I also just recalled that Luca had actually appeared in Revelator, which is episode 11, during the D-transformation montage. So this sort of hints that he's going to make an appearance later into the season, even if it's just a couple episodes when you're looking at it production-wise. But I don't think that he's going to stay because he made it clear that he was going to leave Paris. And I honestly think he's just going to continue his training in Brazil. But overall, it was good to see him, and I think that his overall new character design is nice. I don't think it's better necessarily than the old one, but we've already heard enough about the old animation. And the last and most compelling point and spoiler that I see is Nathalie, at the end, has apparently turned to the dark side. Honestly, I'm a little confused by this one. I never thought of Nathalie as a villain, even all the way through the series. I thought she was just on board with Gabriel to show her loyalty for working for the Agreste family for all those years. But I find it hard to believe that she actually is having another villain arc. And so I went back and I did a little digging, and I saw that the 2 episodes at the end of season 2, I believe they were season 2 episode 25 and episode 26, which is when Nathalie turns into Catalyst helping Scarlet Moth. And then also in episode 26, she turns into Mayora, I think for the first time, and starts creating Senti monsters. And I agree, in both of these episodes, she looks like a villain, but I don't think she necessarily fits the part. I didn't really see anything that stuck out and really showed her as a villain or the villain type. I honestly think that Nathalie, at least for the majority of it, was just trying to be loyal to Gabriel, and not necessarily she wasn't worried of losing her job or anything, but I think she just had a connection with the Agreste family and didn't really know how to respond to this. I think it was mostly because she probably knew that if she helped him and he got what he wanted, he would stop and everything would go back to normal, or they would finally be able to live in a perfect-like setting. And even in season 3, episode 15 of Feast, and we see her using the Peacock Miraculous to bring Feast back to life. I don't think that was necessarily it definitely wasn't good, but I don't think that was necessarily evil. And then even going a little bit more forward in season 3, episode 26, when she was trying to manipulate both Chloe and Lila, I believe, I don't even think at that point she was in her heart as a villain. I think she was just sort of misled. I don't even want to use the word misled because I think Nathalie is too intelligent for that. But I don't know if she was truly playing Gabriel, because we see at the beginning of season 5 that she's totally against it. I think it was when he had all the Miraculouses, or at least most of them, and he had an opportunity to make the wish, or at least use that Peacock Miraculous, I think, to go back in time and give that to Emily and offer that one, or whatever that was, and kind of fix the past in that way. But of course, with him becoming more mentally unstable, he chose to go after the Ladybug and Black Cat Miraculouses. And then that's kind of when we see the first sign of actual betrayal of Nathalie, even though I wouldn't say it's a betrayal of her. I think she was just tired of dealing with all of his antics, and she knew that he was losing it, and that his true mission of not being a terrible bad guy, but just being a guy who wanted to bring his wife back and not doing it in the correct or civil way really showed her that this wasn't necessarily about this anymore. It became an overall obsession and just completely took control of him. The only thing that I can think of her joining what they call the machine now, and I think this is the first time that they've mentioned it, and I can't help but think that Tomo Tsurugi, Kagami's mom, is on top of this or within this as an executive or a leader. But again, I can't imagine that Nathalie is going to have a second or additional villain arc. I don't think that's inside of her, and I don't think that, again, Nathalie is the villain, the true evil, super villain evil type. If anything, I think this is more of a spy opportunity, and I think it helps her because anyone who's involved in this machine has seen Nathalie in all of the times that she's helped Gabriel with the Miraculouses, and that's definitely going to be a great disguise for her if it ends up going this way. And then I think it's kind of cool too that we're seeing more of the external side of Miraculous, the broadening version of it, seeing the families of all of the characters, not just Marinette and Adrian, but of the secondary and supporting characters I've mentioned before. And Nathalie's included in that. I think her dad is Mr. Sunkor. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But we finally see him. I didn't see an actual image of him or a physical appearance, but I heard that he was involved in that episode somehow, so maybe we could tie Nathalie's villainous habits back to her father or her parents in general. But I'm almost getting kind of spy vibes from this, not just Nathalie acting as a spy, but maybe her dad is acting as a spy as well. This is just speculation though. Gosh, I can't believe I forgot this one. So at the end of the episode, I realized as well that Adrian had that frog plushie, and there was definitely attention placed on it because I think it zoomed into the eyes at the end of the episode, and people have been saying that there's a camera in it, or at least that's a couple of thoughts that I've seen. I think that might be true, but I'm almost wondering now who would have put that in there. Now if we can connect this back to Nathalie and maybe an additional or second villain arc, like I said before, that would make more sense if Nathalie put that camera in there, if anything, because she would have the power and the opportunity to do so. Or it could have also served as like a child monitor or like a baby monitor type of thing for Adrian when he was little. And Gabriel could have put that in there, or Emily. I don't know for sure. That's just speculation as well. But I'm leaning more towards it being an actual camera. Take my thoughts as a grain of salt because I haven't watched this episode fully yet, so I am probably missing some details in there. But that's all I've got. Put your thoughts in the comments and share your take on El Toro de Piedra episode 7. And let me see what you think. That's it for me, and I've got some more miraculous content coming, so don't go away. You're going to want to see it.